I still remember the exact moment my life changed. It was a Tuesday evening, and I'd just gotten home from my IT job, exhausted from staring at screens all day. Emma was already there, scrolling through her phone with that distant look she'd been wearing for weeks. "We need to talk," she said without looking up. My stomach dropped. Those 4 words never led anywhere good. I sat down across from her, loosening my tie, trying to read her expression. "I can't do this anymore, Derek." Her voice was cold, clinical. "You're just comfortable, safe, boring." I tried to speak, but she cut me off. "Look at you," she continued, her eyes finally meeting mine with something between pity and contempt. "You come home, eat takeout, play video games, and go to bed. When's the last time you did something exciting? When's the last time you even tried to impress me? I work hard to provide for us. That's not enough." She stood up, her voice rising. "I need passion. I need excitement. I need someone who takes care of themselves, who has ambition beyond the next software update." The words that came next felt like a punch to the gut. "You're not man enough to keep me. Derek, you're soft, weak. I need someone stronger, someone who challenges me." She grabbed her pre-packed bag from behind the couch. "I'm staying at Tyler's place." Tyler, the CrossFit instructor she'd been training with for the past 2 months. Of course, after she left, I sat in my apartment for hours, staring at the wall. The humiliation burned through me like acid. Part of me wanted to rage, to break something, to call her and beg. But another part, a quieter part I'd been ignoring for years, whispered something different. She was right. Not about me being not man enough. That was cruel and unfair. But about me settling, about me letting myself go, about me choosing comfort over growth. I walked to the bathroom and really looked at myself in the mirror for the first time in months. When had I gained this weight? When had my face gotten so tired? I lifted my shirt. The soft belly that had gradually appeared looked foreign, like it belonged to someone else. I wasn't going to win Emma back. I didn't even want to anymore. But I was going to prove something to myself. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed scrolling through gym memberships, workout programs, and transformation stories. People who'd been where I was and climbed out. If they could do it, why couldn't I? At 6 a.m. Wednesday morning, I walked into Iron Temple Gym. The place smelled like rubber, sweat, and possibility. Everyone there looked like they knew exactly what they were doing, lifting heavy weights, running on treadmills with barely a drop of sweat, moving with purpose and confidence. I felt completely out of place. First time, a voice startled me. A massive guy with a graying beard and kind eyes extended his hand. "I'm Marcus. I own this place, Derek," I managed. "Yeah, first time. I don't really know where to start." Marcus smiled, and something in his expression told me he'd seen countless guys like me walk through those doors. "That's what I'm here for. Everyone starts somewhere. The fact you walked through that door, that's the hardest part." He set me up with a basic program 3 days a week, focusing on compound movements and building a foundation. Nothing fancy, nothing extreme, just consistency. "Don't try to transform overnight," Marcus warned. "This is a marathon, not a sprint. Show up, do the work, trust the process." As I left the gym that morning, my legs already shaking from the workout, my phone buzzed. Emma's Instagram story showed her and Tyler at some trendy restaurant, his arm around her shoulder. I felt a twinge of pain, but something else too, determination. This wasn't about her anymore. This was about me. The first month was hell. Every morning at 5:30 a.m., my alarm would shatter whatever restless sleep I'd managed. My body screamed at me to stay in bed, to skip just this once, to go back to the comfortable life I'd known. But I dragged myself up anyway. The workouts were brutal. Marcus had me doing squats, deadlifts, bench presses, rows, all movements that felt awkward and foreign. My muscles burned. My joints ached. I couldn't lift even a fraction of what the other guys were doing. And my ego took a beating every session. "Stop comparing yourself to them," Marcus said one morning, catching me staring at a guy benching twice my weight. "Compare yourself to who you were yesterday. That's the only competition that matters." But it wasn't just the physical pain. The mental battle was worse. Emma's words echoed in my head during every difficult set. Weak, soft, not man enough. Some days I believed them. Some days they fueled me. I overhauled my diet too. No more pizza at midnight. No more energy drinks and vending machine snacks. I taught myself to meal prep on Sundays: chicken, rice, vegetables. Boring but effective. My co-workers noticed. What happened to Fun Derek? Jake from accounting joked as I turned down the usual Friday takeout. You used to be cool. I'm trying something different, I said simply. What they didn't see were the nights I sat alone, sore and exhausted, questioning everything. Or the times I drove past Emma and Tyler at coffee shops, seeing them laugh together, wondering if I'd made a mistake. Social media was torture. Her posts showing their picture-perfect relationship, traveling to places we'd talked about going. I deleted Instagram, then Facebook, then most of my apps. If I was going to do this, I needed to focus. Week 6 was when I almost quit. I'd been pushing hard, maybe too hard. During a deadlift session, my form broke down and I felt something twinge in my lower back. Nothing serious, but enough to scare me. Marcus immediately stopped me. You're trying to rush it, he said, his tone firm but not unkind. I see it all the time. Guys come in here running from something: a breakup, a health scare, whatever. They think if they just push hard enough, fast enough, they can outrun their problems. He made me sit down. But that's not how this works. Derek, real change is slow, boring, consistent. You don't need to be in here killing yourself every day. You need to be in here doing good work you can sustain. He adjusted my program, dialed back the intensity, and added proper rest days. It felt like a step backward, but within 2 weeks, I was actually lifting more. My body was recovering, adapting, growing. Round month 3, something shifted. I woke up one morning and realized I'd forgotten to feel sorry for myself. The gym had stopped being a punishment and started being a refuge. I knew the regulars now: Marcus, obviously, but also Rita, the 60-year-old powerlifter who could squat more than most men, and James, a former college athlete rebuilding after an injury. They became my people. You're moving different, Marcus observed one morning, standing taller. You noticed that? I had, actually. My clothes fit differently. My face looked sharper. But more than that, I felt different, more present, more capable. The self-help podcasts I'd started listening to during my commute talked about confidence. As a side effect of competence, you don't think yourself into confidence. You earn it through action. Every workout I completed, every healthy meal I ate, every time I chose growth over comfort, I was depositing into a confidence bank account that was finally starting to accumulate interest. My work improved too. I volunteered for a challenging project I'd normally avoid and crushed it. My boss noticed. Derek, you've been on fire lately, she said during a one-on-one. Different energy. I'm putting you forward for the senior developer position. One Saturday morning, for months in, I was doing pull-ups when I caught my reflection in the gym mirror. For just a moment, I didn't recognize myself. My shoulders had width. My arms had definition. My gut was shrinking. But it was my eyes that surprised me most. They looked alive again. That's when I saw her. Emma. She'd walked into the gym with Tyler, both in matching workout gear, both looking around like they owned the place. Our eyes met across the weight floor. Her expression cycled through surprise, confusion, and something else, something I couldn't quite read. I turned back to my pull-ups and kept going. Month 6 brought changes I never expected. The physical transformation was obvious now. I'd lost 35 pounds of fat and gained noticeable muscle. My old work shirts hung loose on my shoulders, so I bought new ones, actually bothering with fit and style for the first time in years. Colleagues who hadn't seen me in a while did double takes, but the internal changes ran deeper. I'd started saying no to things that didn't serve me. When my buddy Dave invited me to his usual all-night gaming sessions fueled by beer and pizza, I declined. When my mom tried to guilt me into skipping the gym for a family dinner I could easily attend afterward, I held my boundary. Some people didn't like the new Derek. I was okay with that. You've changed, Dave said, a hint of accusation in his voice. Yeah, I agreed. I have. Marcus introduced me to his wife, Linda, who ran a small business consulting firm. Over post-workout coffee, she asked about my career. I'm in IT, I said. Software development. You any good? I paused. Old Derek would have shrugged and said something self-deprecating. New Derek answered honestly, yeah, actually. I'm very good, Linda smiled. I like that. None of that false modesty nonsense. Own your value. She handed me a card. I have a client who needs someone. Interested? That side project turned into freelance work that paid more than my day job. Suddenly I had options, possibilities, a future I was actively building rather than passively accepting. The gym remained my anchor. Marcus had moved me into more advanced programming, periodization, progressive overload, mobility work. I was deadlifting 315 pounds now, more than I'd ever imagined possible. But more importantly, I understood my body in a way I never had. I knew when to push, when to rest, when to eat, when to recover. You're one of my success stories now, Marcus said one morning, watching me coach a new member on squat form. You know that, right? It was around this time that I met Sophie. She was a physical therapist who worked with several of Marcus's clients. I'd seen her around the gym, always professional, always focused, with this quiet competence that I found magnetic. She wore minimal makeup, kept her hair in a practical ponytail, and had the kind of genuine smile that made you want to earn it. We first talked when I tweaked my shoulder doing overhead press. Marcus sent me to her for a session. So you're the Derek I keep hearing about, she said, assessing my shoulder with practiced efficiency. Marcus talks about you like you're his personal project. I kind of am, I admitted. 6 months ago, I was a mess, and now, still figuring that out, she worked on my shoulder, explaining the biomechanics, giving me exercises to prevent future issues. But we also just talked about her work, about my coding, about the books we were reading, about everything and nothing. You're easy to talk to, she said as our session ended. Most of the gym guys just wanted to flex and talk about their macros. Reformed gym guy. I corrected. I used to be the furthest thing from a gym guy possible. I like reformed better. She smiled. More interesting story. We started grabbing coffee after her sessions with clients. Nothing formal, just two people enjoying each other's company. She told me about her dream of opening her own practice. I told her about the freelance work, about considering leaving my corporate job, about actually building a life instead of just surviving one. You should do it, she said simply. The freelance thing. Life's too short to play it safe. That's easy to say and hard to do. I know, but Derek, you already did the hard thing. You changed your entire life because someone told you that you weren't enough. Except you didn't do it for them. You did it for you. Starting a business, that's nothing compared to that. I realized I was falling for her, not the desperate, codependent falling I'd done with Emma. This was different, calmer, deeper, based on mutual respect and genuine compatibility rather than fear of being alone. One evening, as we sat in a coffee shop dissecting a podcast episode we'd both listened to, my phone buzzed. Emma double quotes, "Hey, can we talk? I miss you." I stared at the message for a moment. 6 months ago, this would have sent me into an emotional spiral. I would have analyzed every word, crafted the perfect response, hoped against hope that she wanted me back. Now, I felt nothing, maybe a little pity. Sophie noticed my expression. "Everything okay?" "Yeah," I said, putting my phone away without responding. "Everything's good. Tell me more about that property you looked at for your practice." Her face lit up, and we spent the next hour planning her future. Our future, maybe, though neither of us said it out loud yet. That night, I finally replied to Emma, "I'm good. Take care of yourself." Then I blocked her number. Some chapters need to close completely before new ones can truly begin. Emma showed up at my apartment on a rainy Thursday evening. I'd just gotten home from the gym, still in my workout clothes, when the buzzer rang. Through the intercom, her voice was small, uncertain, so different from the confident person who'd walked out 9 months ago. "Derek, it's me. Can I come up, please?" Every fiber of my being wanted to say no, but curiosity won. I buzzed her in. When I opened the door, her eyes widened. She'd seen me at the gym months ago, but this was different, closer, more intimate. I watched her take in the changes, the broad shoulders, the defined arms, the confidence in how I stood. "Hi," she said softly. "You look, wow. What do you want, Emma?" She flinched at my tone. "Can I come in?" I stepped aside. The apartment looked different, too cleaner, more organized. decorated with actual intention rather than whatever was convenient, evidence of a person who respected their space and themselves. Emma sat on the couch where she'd delivered her crushing speech all those months ago. The irony wasn't lost on either of us. I made a mistake, she began, tears already forming. Tyler and I. It didn't work out. He was immature, selfish, only cared about his image. It was all surface level. No depth, no real connection. I leaned against the kitchen counter, arms crossed, saying nothing. I see that now, she continued. What we had was real. You were stable, reliable, caring. I took that for granted. I was stupid and shallow, and I'm so sorry. Okay, she looked up, confused by my neutral response. Derek, I want to try again. I know I hurt you, but people make mistakes. We were good together. We can be good again. No, please, just listen. I am listening, I interrupted. I heard everything you said. You're sorry. Tyler didn't work out. You want to try again. I heard all of it. Then why? Because you're not sorry you left, Emma. You're sorry it didn't work out with him. There's a difference. She started to protest, but I raised my hand. Let me finish. For 9 months, I've thought about what I'd say if you came back. I had speeches prepared, arguments ready, evidence of how much I'd changed. But standing here now, I realize I don't need to prove anything to you. I walked to the window, looking out at the rain-soaked city. You said I wasn't man enough to keep you, that I was weak and soft. And you know what? In that moment, you were probably right. Not because of my body or my hobbies, but because I'd stopped growing. I'd gotten comfortable. I'd stopped being intentional about my life. I turned to face her. But here's what you didn't understand. Strength isn't about muscles or dominance, or whatever Tyler represented to you. Real strength is showing up for yourself every day, even when it's hard. It's choosing growth over comfort. It's being kind even when you're hurting. It's building something meaningful rather than chasing excitement. Emma was crying now, mascara running down her cheeks. I'm not the same person you left, I continued. And honestly, neither are you. We've both changed. But I've changed into someone I actually like and respect. Someone who knows his worth. And that person doesn't want someone who only values him after he's transformed into what she thinks she wanted. I've changed too, she insisted. I learned from this. I know what matters now. Maybe you have. I hope you have, for your own sake. But it doesn't change anything between us. We're done. We were done the moment you walked out that door 9 months ago. She stood up, desperation creeping into her voice. Is there someone else? Is that what this is about? I thought about Sophie, about our easy conversations and shared values, about how she'd seen me at various stages of my transformation and appreciated all versions, about how she pushed me to be better without making me feel insufficient. There's someone who appreciates me for who I am, not who they need me to be, I said carefully. Someone who didn't need me to transform to see my value. Who is she? That's not relevant. What matters is that I've built a life I'm proud of. A life that doesn't have room for someone who couldn't see my worth when it mattered. Emma grabbed her purse, her tears turning to anger. So that's it. You're just going to throw away 3 years? You threw them away, Emma. I'm just not picking up the pieces anymore. She moved toward the door, then stopped. You think you're so much better now, don't you? So evolved. But you're still the same Derek, just with muscles and an ego. You're probably right about the ego. I admitted. I'm working on that. But at least I'm working on myself, period. Not just trying to go back to what was comfortable. After she left, I sat in the silence of my apartment for a long time. My hands were shaking. The confrontation had taken more out of me than I'd shown. Part of me had wanted to comfort her, to soften my words, to be the accommodating Derek she remembered. But that Derek was gone, and I didn't miss him. My phone rang. Sophie, hey, you still coming to dinner at my place? She asked. I'm making that pasta you liked. Yeah, I said, my voice steadier than I felt. I'll be there in 30. You okay? You sound off. Emma came by. A pause. Want to talk about it? Later, maybe. Right now I just want to hang out with someone who actually sees me. Always, she said softly. Drive safe. As I got ready, I realized something. Emma's return didn't feel like a temptation or even a test. It felt like confirmation that I'd made the right choices. Not just about fitness or career, but about who I wanted to be and who I wanted beside me. I'd transformed my body, sure, but I'd transformed something more important, my understanding of my own worth. 1 year after Emma left, I stood in my new apartment at downtown loft I could actually afford thanks to the freelance work. That had turned into a full-fledged business. The space was twice the size of my old place, with floor-to-ceiling windows and room for a proper home gym. But the real celebration was happening at Iron Temple. Marcus had organized a surprise party disguised as a normal Saturday session. Speech. Rita yelled as everyone gathered around. "Tell these newbies what real transformation looks like." I looked at the faces around me. Marcus, who'd believed in me when I couldn't believe in myself. James, who'd become my training partner and close friend. The dozen or so other people who'd become my community. And Sophie, standing at the back, beaming with pride. A year ago, I started. I walked in here broken. My girlfriend had just left me, told me I wasn't man enough to keep her. And I believed her. A few sympathetic nods from the crowd. I thought transformation meant looking different, getting bigger, stronger, more impressive. And yeah, I did that. I flexed jokingly, earning some laughs. But that was the easy part, believe it or not. The hard part was changing how I saw myself, realizing that I'd been living small not because of my body, but because I'd accepted a version of myself that was less than what I could be. I'd chosen comfort over growth, entertainment over purpose, fitting in over standing out. I caught Sophie's eye. She was crying, happy tears that she didn't bother wiping away. This place taught me that transformation isn't about proving something to someone else. It's about becoming the person you're capable of being. It's about showing up consistently, even when progress is invisible. It's about failing, learning, and trying again. Marcus nodded approvingly. Some of you are here because of a breakup, or a health scare, or just a feeling that life should be more than what you're settling for. And I want you to know, it gets better. Not easier, necessarily, but better, richer, more meaningful. I paused, gathering my thoughts. My ex came back a few months ago, wanted to try again, and I said no. Not because I was still angry, but because I'd built something better. Not just a better body or a better job, but a better life, with people who see my value, who push me to grow without making me feel inadequate, who celebrate my wins and support me through struggles. I look directly at Sophie now. I learned that the right person doesn't need you to transform to see your worth. They see it from the start and help you see it too. They don't fix you, they remind you that you were never really broken, just dormant. The gym erupted in applause. Marcus pulled me into a bear hug that nearly cracked my ribs. "Proud of you, man," he whispered. "Knew you had it in you." As the party continued, Sophie pulled me aside to the quiet corner near the stretching area. "That was beautiful," she said. I meant every word. She hesitated, then I got the loan approval. "I'm opening the practice, Sophie." "That's amazing." I pulled her into a hug, and I was thinking, I might need someone to help with the business side. Marketing, website, systems. Someone who understands building something from scratch. I pulled back to look at her. "Are you asking me to work with you?" "I'm asking if you wanted to build something together. Professionally, I mean." She bit her lip. "Although, full transparency, I'm also hoping for more than just professional." "More than professional," I repeated, my heart racing. "I'm terrible at this." She laughed nervously. "What I'm trying to say is, I've watched you transform over the past year, and it's been incredible. But Derek, I liked you before the muscles and the business and the confidence. I liked the guy who showed up scared but willing. The guy who listened to my dreams like they mattered. The guy who chose growth over ego. I loved you then," she continued, her voice barely a whisper. "And I love you now. Not because you changed, but because of who you've always been underneath." I couldn't speak. After Emma's conditional love based on what I could provide, or how I made her look, Sophie's unconditional acceptance felt like standing in sunlight. After years in shadow, "I love you too," I finally managed. "Have for months." Was terrified to say it because of her. Sophie finished. "I know. But I'm not her, Derek. I'm not going anywhere just because things get comfortable or real or hard." I kissed her then, in the middle of Iron Temple Gym, with our friends cheering in the background and Marcus yelling something about finally. Later that night, Sophie and I sat on my apartment balcony. watching the city lights flicker in the darkness. Do you ever regret it? She asked. What happened with Emma? The pain that started all this? I thought about it honestly. I regret how it happened, the cruelty of it. But the outcome? No, if she hadn't left, I'd still be that guy, comfortable, complacent, slowly disappearing into a life I hadn't chosen, but had just accepted. You would have changed eventually, Sophie said. Maybe. Or maybe I'd have spent decades in slow-motion misery, wondering why I felt so hollow. Pain is a powerful teacher, even when we wish we could learn another way. What about her? Do you ever wonder how she's doing? Sometimes. I hope she found whatever she was looking for. I hope she learned that excitement isn't the same as fulfillment, and that security isn't the same as stagnation. But mostly, I don't think about her much at all. Sophie squeezed my hand. That's probably the best revenge. It's not revenge, I corrected gently. It's just moving on, building something better, being grateful for the lessons without romanticizing the teacher. My phone buzzed, a notification from the business account. Another client inquiry, the third this week. The freelance work had exploded beyond anything I'd imagined. I was actually considering hiring help. You're smiling, Sophie observed. Just thinking about how much has changed. A year ago, I would have looked at this notification and felt overwhelmed, stressed, like I was in over my head. And now I feel excited, capable, like I can handle whatever comes because I've already handled hard things. I've already proven to myself that I can transform when necessary. You know what I love about you? Sophie said suddenly, my devastating good looks. I joked. She laughed. Those are a bonus. No, I love that you're still kind. After everything, the betrayal, the pain, the anger you must have felt, you didn't let it make you bitter. You could have become one of those guys obsessed with revenge bodies and proving exes wrong. But you didn't. You just became more yourself. That's the best compliment anyone's ever given me. Good. Because I have more. She turned to face me fully. You're ambitious without being ruthless, strong without being aggressive, confident without being arrogant, and you make me want to be better without making me feel insufficient. That's rare, Derek. You do the same for me, I said. You make growth feel like partnership, not competition. We sat in comfortable silence, watching the city breathe. Somewhere out there, Emma was living her life. Tyler probably was too, and that was fine. Their story was no longer mine. That my story was here, in this apartment I'd earned, with this woman I'd chosen, building this life I'd designed. It wasn't perfect. I still had hard days at the gym and stressful moments with work. I still sometimes felt echoes of old insecurities. But the difference was, now I had tools to handle them, a support system that lifted me up, and most importantly, a relationship with myself built on respect rather than criticism. Hey, Sophie said, breaking the silence. Next time you're at the gym, teach me to deadlift. Properly, I mean, you want to learn to deadlift. I want to understand what transformed you. Plus, you get this adorable focused expression when you're coaching people. Adorable. I raised an eyebrow. Devastatingly adorable, she confirmed. I pulled her closer. Deal. But fair warning, Marcus will absolutely adopt you into his gym family. And then you'll be stuck with us forever. Forever sounds pretty good, she said softly. And in that moment, overlooking the city that had witnessed my transformation, with the woman who loved every version of me, I realized something profound. Emma was right. I wasn't man enough to keep her, but I'd become man enough to find someone better. Not better than her. That comparison no longer mattered. Someone better for me. Someone who matched the person I'd become and was still becoming. The best revenge wasn't proving her wrong. It was building a life so fulfilling that proving anything to anyone else became irrelevant. My transformation hadn't ended. It had just begun. And this time, I wasn't transforming for anyone but myself.